Good morning, everyone. My name is Rواء كاظم, a lecturer in the College of Basic Education, Babylon University. Today, our lecture is about irony and symbolism in Saki's short story, The Open Window. First of all, before we deal with the symbols in the open window, let us introduce the meaning of symbolism. Symbolism is a literary device where an object, a character, or an event represents a deeper meaning beyond its literal sense. The author actually used symbolism to convey a complex idea, emotions, and themes in a very skillful, intelligent way. Symbols are often evokes the association that helps the reader to understand the underlying message of the story without needing to be clearly told. Here we have some photos to make symbolism clear to you. For example, we have the black cat, which usually symbolize the bad luck. The owl symbolize death, and the spoiled soul symbolize the bad news that could happen. Here we have a positive photos. We have a pigeon or a bird, a white bird, which symbolize peace, innocence, and we have the red flower symbolizes love, and the rain symbolizes life and prosperity. Back to the short story, The Open Window. Actually, in The Open Window there are many symbols. It's full of symbols, but we are going to deal with some of them. The first symbol is the open window, itself. Actually, the open window is interesting because it has different meanings for the different characters in the short story. For Vera is an opportunity to exercise her imagination, to escape from the boring adult world to a fantasy world. The window becomes a source of motivation and inspiration to fabricate the tale about the Sappleton's family. For Mrs. Sappleton, the open window represents hope and freedom, as she has been waiting for the return of her husband and brother and the two brothers along the story. For Frampton, the open window becomes a source of concern. It represents a source of concern and comfort, fear as well. So we can say that generally the open window symbolizes the gateway to deception and a fine line between reality and imagination. The characters are also symbolic in the open window. We have Vera. Vera is a symbol of deception. Saki wanted us to realize that sometimes the appearance of the person could be deceiving. Also, she symbolizes the power of narrative and its impact to control the others. Vera also, we can say that her youth and innocence are symbolic of how easily the young or the appearance person can be deceiving to the others, or could deceive the others. A Frampton Nuttall symbolizes the outsider who failed to connect with the surroundings and the people around him. Nuttall's character also symbolizes the human tendency to be guided by fear and imagination when information is limited. Now we have the Mrs. Sappleton's character. She symbolizes the traditional Edwardian social norms, where politeness and hospitality are expected towards strangers. The other symbols, we have Frampton Nuttall's letters of introduction. He uses the letter introduction in the short story to introduce himself. He was not able even to introduce himself. So we can say that it symbolizes security and connection to the people. Also, we can understand from the letters of introduction that he depends on others. He is not a dependent person. The names in the short story are symbolic as well. For example, Nuttall implies that he is naughty or mentally unsettled. The sap in Sapleton connects to foolishness. So these are the symbols in the short story. Now let's deal with the irony. Here we have a photo. You can understand what is the meaning of irony. Irony actually also it's a literary device where there is a contrast between exceptions or expectations and reality, often leading to a surprising outcomes. So you can see that the building is supposed to be perfect because there is the word perfection on the above the building, but the opposite is clear. Actually, in English, we have three types of, in the short story, we have the three types of irony. We have the situational irony, we have the dramatic irony, and we have the verbal irony. The situational irony, this is when the opposite of what is expected happens in a situation. So here we can see that both the reader and the character do not know what is going to happen inside the literary work. For example, in the short story, we both as a reader and Frampton believe that what Vera said about the tragedy of Sapleton's family was real, but in fact it was not. We realize that at the end of the story. Also, we have Mr. Nuttall. He visits the countryside to get better. He came to relax his nerves, but in fact what happens is the opposite. He becomes worse and run away. The dramatic irony, number 2. This type of irony occurs when the audience and the readers know nothing or know something. Here we have the reader knows what is going to happen while the characters do not know. For example, here we have the third story, or we can say the second story that has been told by Vera, the story of the Baraya dogs. Actually, we realize as readers that the story was fabricated by Vera, while the characters here, the Sapleton's family, believed in the story of Vera. Number 3, we have the verbal irony. The verbal irony is when I say something, but I mean the opposite. Vera's name is ironic. It means truthfulness, but in fact she is a deceptive character. She keeps lying till the end of the short story. Vera, we can say that she represents herself as an innocent and honest, trustworthy character, but in fact she was the opposite or the contrast of what she described herself, what she had described herself. The title of the short story itself is ironic because the open window should symbolize welcoming and hope, but in fact it becomes a symbol at the end of the story. It becomes a symbol of deception and manipulation. Thank you for listening. Wish you all a good luck.